All right, you might remember a few months back we talked about this incredible, mysterious gas that showed up in our solar system. It's called 3I Atlas, and it's only the third interstellar visitor we have ever spotted. Well, we said new data was on its way, and guess what? That day's here. NASA has just dropped its findings, so let's not waste any time. Let's dive right into what they found.
So for weeks, this is really the question that's been buzzing around, right? Just what is this thing? I mean, is it just another rock floating through space? Or could it be something way more incredible? Like maybe an interstellar time capsule that's been traveling for who knows how long, maybe even older than our own sun. And of course, you know the question that came up first at the NASA press conference. It's the one we've all been thinking. Could this be artificial? Is it a spacecraft? That single question just lit a fire under everyone's imagination. The thought that this could be a piece of alien tech, well, it's a hard idea to let go of. So, what's the answer? Well, to figure that out, scientists launched what has to be one of the biggest cosmic observation campaigns in history.
Okay, so let's get into the cosmic observation operation. Picture this, as 3I Atlas makes its closest approach to our sun, this whole armada of telescopes and spacecraft, everything swivels to look at it. It was literally like a cosmic stakeout. Every eye we have in the sky was pointed at this one single object, just waiting to see what secrets it would give up. And I'm not exaggerating when I say an armada. We're talking about 20 different missions were all focused on this one thing. And yeah, that includes the big guns, the James Webb Space Telescope, Hubble, but it was also missions that are currently orbiting Mars. Even probes that are on their way out to Jupiter got in on the action. The entire solar system, for a moment, became one giant observatory.
So you hear about all this incredible tech, right? Webb, Hubble, all of it pointed at this one spot. And then you see the pictures NASA released, and you're probably thinking, that's it? It's a blurry dot? Where are the crystal clear, Hollywood-style close-ups? Well, there's a really good reason for that, and it's not because our technology isn't good enough. It all comes down to physics.
Okay, to really get this, let's put it in perspective. Take the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, the MRO. This thing has a camera so powerful it can snap these amazingly sharp pictures of a tiny helicopter on the surface of Mars from 300 kilometers up. Pretty incredible. Now that same camera was trying to see 3I Atlas from, wait for it, 30 million kilometers away. That enormous, mind-boggling distance is the biggest reason we just get a fuzzy dot. But it's not the only reason.
See, even if we could somehow teleport a camera right up next to it, we still wouldn't see a clean, sharp, metallic spaceship. Why? Because 3I Atlas isn't just a naked piece of rock. As it gets warmed up by the sun, all the frozen gases inside it start to, well, spray out, creating this huge cloud, this fog of gas and dust all around it. Scientists call this cloud a coma. So that blurry image we're seeing, that's not a problem with the camera. That is the object. We're looking at its atmosphere.
And this whole situation just shows you how tough it is to see what's actually at the center of that cloud. One of the scientists put it perfectly. They said, this object is darker than freshly poured asphalt. So imagine trying to see a chunk of asphalt through a thick fog. It's almost impossible to see the core through its own dusty veil. And that's exactly why we can't even get a good read on its size. The best guess is somewhere between 400 meters and 5 kilometers wide, which is a pretty huge range.
Okay, so now for the big reveal. After pointing every instrument we have at this thing, after collecting all that data from millions and millions of kilometers away, what's the verdict? The big question, is it a spaceship?
Well, the science team came back with a pretty definitive answer. Nope. It behaves exactly like a comet. It has all the telltale signs of being a completely natural object. There are zero technological signatures, no radio signals, absolutely nothing that even hints at it being artificial. And look, I know that might sound like a disappointment, but trust me, it's not. In fact, what they did find is, in my opinion, way more interesting.
So let's talk about this interstellar letter. This is where things get really wild. The most profound discovery, the real game changer, came from the James Webb Space Telescope. See, it wasn't about what this object looked like, it was about what it was made of. Webb was able to read its chemical composition, and what it found, well, it's basically like we received a letter in the mail from a whole other star system. So how'd they do that? They used this amazing technique called spectroscopy, and honestly, the concept behind it is beautifully simple. First, you collect the super faint light coming from that gassy cloud, the coma. Then, you pass that light through an instrument that acts just like a prism. It splits the light into a full rainbow. Here's the cool part. Different chemicals absorb light at very specific colors, which leaves these little black lines in the rainbow. It creates a unique barcode, a chemical fingerprint, that scientists can then read to see exactly what's in there.
And the fingerprint they found for 3I Atlas was, well, it was a shocker. Just look at this comparison. Comets that formed here, in our own solar system, are loaded with water ice, but they're pretty low on carbon dioxide. Now look at 3I Atlas. It is the complete opposite. It's absolutely packed with carbon dioxide, but has hardly any water. It's a fundamentally different recipe from anything we've ever seen born in our cosmic neighborhood.
One of the scientists gave this fantastic analogy. They said it's like encountering a completely different bread recipe from the other side of the world. Imagine you know every single way to bake bread in your town, and suddenly someone hands you a loaf made with ingredients you didn't even know existed. That's 3I Atlas. It was baked in another star's kitchen, formed in an environment with a totally different set of chemical ingredients. It might have come from a star that doesn't even exist anymore.
And this, right here, is why finding these interstellar visitors is so incredibly important. It really brings home this idea that the universe can come to us. I mean, space is it's almost impossibly big and empty. Traveling to other stars ourselves is, for now, science fiction. But what we're starting to realize is, maybe we don't have to go to them.
To really get a feel for the distances we're talking about, let's try an analogy. Okay, imagine our sun is just a single coffee bean. Just one coffee bean sitting on a table in front of you. At that scale, the Earth would be a microscopic grain of sand orbiting a few inches away. And our entire solar system, the whole thing would probably fit inside a big museum hall.
So, where do you think the next coffee bean would be? The nearest star to us, Proxima Centauri? It wouldn't be in the next room. It wouldn't even be in the next building over. It would be in a whole other city. And between your coffee bean and that one, there's practically nothing, just this vast, cold, empty space. And that is the journey 3I Atlas just made to get here.
And really, that's the ultimate takeaway here. This is what's so amazing. For the very first time, we are able to physically analyze pieces of other solar systems, right here in our own backyard. These interstellar visitors, they're like messengers, crossing that impossible void. So even if we can't go to the stars just yet, it turns out the stars are sending us samples.
So what does this all mean? Well, 3I Atlas has proven to us that other star systems can be built from a completely different chemical recipe than ours. And that just opens up so many questions, doesn't it? As we get better at spotting these visitors, what other fundamental differences are we going to find? Just think, what other secrets, what other interstellar letters from distant, unknown stars are already hurtling through the dark on their way to us right now?